Well, as the threat of Trump tariffs continue, the potential impact will be felt at a local level, which is why Burlington City Council unanimously passed a resolution that is, to buy Canadian. And now the mayor has put in place a task force. Earlier today, I spoke with Marianne Meed to learn more about its purpose and the players involved.
So I struck the task force working with two of my deputy mayors, Calvin Galbraith, who's business and red tape reduction, and Paul Sharman, who is strategy and budget. So three of us will co-lead this. And it's really intended to be information sharing. So having people like the Chamber, ECDEV, BIAs, and local companies that represent some of the affected industries around the table to share information, to collaborate. Any decision making would go back to the appropriate decision making table. So if there's an advocacy resolution, we would bring that back to City Council. But it's really to understand how this is affecting our local community so that we can be in a best position to advocate and respond.
Yeah, and I think that proceeding forward with this is definitely a great idea, considering you don't know what's going to happen. No one seems to be able to predict what's happening south of the border with President Trump. So continuing on so that you're definitely ready if something does come about.
Very unpredictable times. The other thing that I did was issue mayor's direction, and this allows directed staff to undertake research. And the research is around buy Canadian, using our procurement to prefer Canadian companies if and when we need it. So they will report. They're doing that research now. I issued a mayor's direction to, give them maximum amount of time to pull this information together to bring it back by our next committee meeting, which is March 3rd, the day before. All these tariffs are supposed to come in, like steel and aluminum and whatever else is on the table. So that they can tell us, look, if you want to buy Canadian strategy, this is how many contracts we currently have out. Are we exposed to U.S. Markets and suppliers? This is what it would look like. And then council can make a decision.
Well, this is clearly not going away anytime soon. I'm sure we're going to touch on this again, perhaps every week.
Yep.
Odds are it'll be a topic.
Feels like.
But let's get to something else here. For those people who may have signed up with Alert Burlington, they could have got a text message just this morning saying that the city will no longer be using the service effective immediately. What happened here?
So this was, it was Alert Burlington, and it was a very data-rich system where, and I signed up for it, of course. So it asked for your home address, how many people living in the house, do you have pets, a whole bunch of information so that if there was a serious emergency, let's say a gas leak in your neighborhood, they would know going in this. You would get an alert right away to evacuate, but they would know the emergency responders, how many people live in the house, if there's any mobility challenges, if there's pets that need to come out. And it just allowed them to be more responsive. We had very low sign up. Ultimately, the system is very expensive given the low sign up. And there's another way for us to alert residents of emergencies. And that's through the alertready.ca, the national platform. Doesn't collect all that personal data on you, but it will send you an alert through your carrier. It's through the wireless carrier. So they have your phone number, they don't know who you are, much like you would get an Amber Alert. So we felt for the value, and given the low sign up, that this would be a fine way to let people know about an emergency happening in their neighborhood.
Well, I'm not sure if we're going to get to emergency status, and believe me, I hope we don't, but it does look like tomorrow there's going to be a lot of snow coming. We do this kind of once a year, you and I. Let's go through and take this opportunity to tell people a few tips on how to deal with snow and help city services so they can do their job.
First thing is all on-street parking. Even if you have a permit, if you're one of those neighborhoods that has an on-street parking program, please do not park on the street. You're going to have to find another way to store your car. We need the streets clear to do the maximum amount of snow clearing. But also, if you want to look on the city's website, it will tell you the order in which we plow streets. So we don't do cul-de-sacs at the same time or in the same priority as we do major major thoroughfares. So those are first. There's a whole categorization of roads from main roads, regional roads, to down to local collector, and then finally the purely residential roads, which come last. And often, as folks know, in a major snowstorm, those roads will experience what we call a hard pack condition. So many cars going on them that the road, the snow gets packed down, and then we'll go out, our staff will go out and put sand and grit to avoid slipping. But where bare pavement is not the goal, it's not the service standard that we have for local roads. And then sidewalks are after that. But, I'm really proud to say in my own neighborhood in Burlington, we were all out there shoveling our sidewalk well before the plow came by. If you can do that, that's really helpful, but the plows will eventually go and also do the salting on the sidewalks. And again, same priority for sidewalks as there is for roads. The most busy thoroughfares for sidewalks are done first.